Hi everyone! Welcome to Social Studies. I hope you're all doing great today. For those who don't know me yet, my name is Teacher Jmar, but you can call me Teacher JM. So I will be your teacher in this subject for this school year. So Social Studies has 5 units. So the first unit is about economics. Unit 2 will be talking about geography. Unit 3 is about history. Then Unit 4 is religion, morality, and ethics. And Unit 5 is about civics and culture. I know that you're all excited to learn and you've been waiting for this. So what are we waiting for? Let's begin! Welcome to Social Studies for Primary 6. Before we begin, please prepare a notebook and a pen for writing down important notes. Are you ready, kids? Well then, let us begin learning. So for today's lesson, we will be learning about the roles of a producer. Let us read our goals for this lesson. Today we will, number 1, define producer. Number 2, identify the roles of a producer. And number 3, tell ways on how to become a responsible producer. What is a producer? A producer produces or makes goods and services. They do these to respond to the customer's needs by using natural resources and factors of production. So what are some examples of producers? Some examples are teachers, doctors, factory workers, and farmers. So now let us identify the roles of producers. So we have 4 main roles of producers. Kindly read it with me. Number 1, use the natural resources and factors of production to produce goods and services. Number 2, think of what to produce, how to produce it, and who will buy these goods and services. Number 3, sell the goods and services. And number 4, bring the goods to the consumers. So these are the 4 main roles of producers. Let us discuss each role, and let's start off with number 1. Use the natural resources and factors of production to produce goods and services. As producers, we need resources to make goods, right? So example, we need wood to make furnitures like chairs and tables. Our natural resources are the things that come from the environment. Producers also need the factors of production, including number 1, land. This is a space that we can use for our production. Examples, farms are used to plant rice, vegetables, or fruits, so we need that. Number 2, we also need labor, or the people who will help us produce a specific good. One man cannot do it alone, especially if you have a big business. So we need people to work for us so we can produce the goods and services. Example, factory workers are part of labor. Number 3, we have capital. It is not only composed of money, but also the machines and all the things that you use to produce goods and services. Example, coffee maker, tables and chairs are the capital if you have a coffee shop. And lastly, number 4, entrepreneur. This is the man who operates the production. He is the one who manages and or owns the production, and someday it could be you. So again, the 4 factors of production are land, that is L-A-N-D. Next, labor, it's L-A-B-O-U-R. Capital, C-A-P-I-T-A-L. L. An entrepreneur, and that is Entrepreneur. So again, the first role of producers is use the natural resources and factors of production to produce goods and services. Okay, moving on. Number two is producers think of what to produce, how to produce it, and who will buy these goods and services. The second role of producers is actually to plan and think of the answers to these questions. Number one, what to produce. Number two, how to produce it. And lastly, who will buy these goods and services? Okay, so please take note that producers think of the answers for these questions when they produce goods and services. The next one is producers sell the goods and services. So producers carry out the process of exchanging goods and services. As producers, you need to initiate the exchange of goods and services. You will need to ask what the buyer is looking for and of course offer it to them. You hand the goods and then they will pay you with their money. And for number four, producers bring the goods to the consumers. So producers distribute goods from the source of production to consumers for their convenience in buying goods and services. Where do you think producers bring their goods? That is correct. They bring it to the market where consumers can easily go to and will have convenience in buying what they need. Alright, so let's have a recap. Again, the four main roles of producers are: number one, producers use the natural resources and factors of production to produce goods and services. Number two, they think of what to produce, how to produce it, and who will buy these goods and services. Number three is to sell the goods and services. Lastly, for number four, producers bring the goods to the consumers. Very good. Now that we know the roles of a producer, we should also learn how to become responsible producers. So as producers, we need to be responsible in producing goods and services. So how can we become one? So first we have to consider the environment. Producers should consider an impact on the environment. Example, a producer who produces wooden products should consider reforestation so that trees that are being used for your production can be replaced, right? And as a good citizen, we have a responsibility to our environment. So we need to take care of it and always put it into consideration, especially if we will use it to produce goods and services. What happens if we don't consider the environment? So the consequences will be on our part. If we lose trees, we might experience floods and landslide in the future. So always consider the environment. Do you understand? The second one is be honest to consumers. You have to make sure that you don't cheat with the measurement and the pricing of your goods and services. If you want to build and gain their trust, you should not take advantage of the consumers, especially with the measurement and the price of the goods you are selling. Always remember that honesty is the best policy. Number three, be careful in producing goods and services. Producers should prioritize the safety of the consumers. We should be careful so that we can make sure our consumers are safe. Also, producers must not add toxic substances in the products which may harm the consumers. Number 4, have social responsibility. Producers should not make exaggerated claims about the goods and services. They have to compensate any damages to consumers when they are negatively affected by the goods and services. Number 5. Plan before producing the goods and services. Producers should always survey the customer needs before producing in order to produce goods and services compatible to the needs of the target group. If you want to be successful, we should plan. If you produce without planning, your production may not be successful. And for number 6, use resources effectively. We should always consider not wasting our resources. This will help you and the environment. Producers must use limited resources to their highest benefits. Also, don't forget to use the 4 R's in using resources effectively. The 4 R's are reduce, reuse, recycle, and repair. Can you say that one more time, please? Reduce, reuse, recycle, and repair. Very good. Alright, so those are the 6 ways to become a responsible producer. So let's have a recap. Everybody read with me. Number 1, consider the environment. Number 2, be honest to consumers. Number 3, be careful in producing goods and services. Number 4, have social responsibility. Number 5, plan before producing goods and services. And number 6, use resources effectively. Good job! Now it's time for our question and answer portion. Let us answer the following questions. You will be given 10 seconds to answer each question. Let's start. Question number 1. Producers blank goods and services. Time's up. So the answer is produce. Producers produce goods and services. Did you get it right? Very good. Question number 2. Producers use the blank and blank to produce goods and services. Time starts now. Time's up. The answers are natural resources and factors of production. Producers use the natural resources and factors of production to produce goods and services. Did you get it right? Excellent! Question 3. Factors of production include land, labor, entrepreneur, and blank. Time starts now. Time's up. The answer is capital. Factors of production include land, labor, entrepreneur, and capital. Who got it right? Good job! Question 4. True or false? Producers bring the goods to the consumers. Time starts now. Time's up. The answer is true. Producers bring the goods to the consumers. Who got it right? Wow, amazing. True or false? As a producer, it is not important to use resources effectively. Time's up. The answer is false. As a producer, it is important to use resources effectively or wisely. Did you get the correct answer? Awesome! And that's the end of our question and answer. Did you enjoy our today's lesson? Well, me too! Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you learned something and enjoyed this lesson. I will see you next time. Take care!